Hi everyone, I'm Matt and welcome back to Toylytics, where we take a look at the analytical side of toy collecting. In this video, we're going to look at the most recent Cosmic Legions wave to get into collectors' hands, the Outpost Zaxxius wave of figures, and their secondary market prices as of the end of the second quarter 2024. So let's take a look at when this wave was available for sale, and it was up for sale in April 2023. Direct sales from the Four Horsemen were delivered to customers about a year later, 2024. May of 2024, and then the retailer street date was June 13th, 2024. So we're only going to see a lot of sales of most of these figures in May and June of the second quarter. A few figures, though, were available as PowerCon early releases in August of 2023. That's the Scourge and Operative 83 figures as the Masters Tributes. So we will see some older sales for those. I also included the individual release of the Walter the Mad figure here as well because in Mythics we have a separate special release video and category and all that because they have a lot of special releases. But this is the first one we have right now, so I just decided to kind of throw it in here as well. And then in the future, once we have additional special releases, I'll make a whole separate video on those for the upcoming quarters. But for right now, I just decided to throw the Cosmic Walter into this video as well. So let's take a look at the data. And you can see here overall that there is, pretty significant demand for each of these figures. We can see in quarter two, Ultra Silovius and the Tusk Pilot are selling 21 copies each. The other figures are selling pretty well too, except for, we'll see this as well. The Sphexian Mine Worker, not really selling very many. I think a lot of people really like that figure, but I think it benefits from being in hand because of the wings and the translucent or iridescent nature of it and the paint job and all that. Maybe some people haven't seen a lot of in-hand reviews or seen it actually physically in hand, so that could be a reason why it's not as popular. It's also a little bit more expensive than the regular figures at a $60 retail price compared to a $50 retail price for the normal figures. So anyway, good number of sales, individually here in just about, a month and a half, mid-May through the end of June, that most of these figures were available. So something to definitely keep an eye on moving forward. Looking at the count of sales by month, again, we only really see Scourge and Operative 83 here. Then we have the Cosmic Walter come into play after Legions Con. But then you could see in May and June, in June in particular, we sold 16 sales of the Tusk Pilot, so pretty popular there, and Ultra Silovius is right behind with 15. So in general, selling pretty well. Again, something to keep more of an eye on as we move forward in time because can't tell too much from only about 6 weeks on the market. As far as prices are concerned, something similar to most of the other figures that we've seen in the Cosmic Legions line, not a lot of price appreciation. These figures are still available from retailers for the most part. They're even available right now from a lot of retailers at 20% off retail price. So regular figures are $40, and the like Sphexian would be $48 in a case like that. And Scourge, I believe, would be something like, what is he, 80, so like 64, I think, $63.99 if you get him from a retailer right now in July. So looking at Scourge, he is the highest price overall. The maximum, one sold for $100 over the second quarter, but then once also sold for 70. That's the lowest price there. So 70 to 100 is the range. Average is right around 80, which is the retail price. Walter the Mad, this one has a little bit of price appreciation compared to any of the other figures. And again, the reason why is just because he's not as available. You had to buy him through the in-stock sale, the reinforcements in-stock sale. The Cosmic Walter was available there, as well as, of course, at shows if the Horsemen have a presence. But that's really the only place to get them. And as a result, his figure is higher than retail. So on average, selling for a little bit over $60, in some cases all the way up to $80. In other cases, though, the minimum was $44.16 he sold for. The Sphexian, again, selling for just under retail price. So his retail price is $60, average is $57.17. he went up to 75. Somebody paid for him, including shipping, and then the minimum was 46. And then all of the other individual figures you can see are selling for a little bit under retail, except for Operative 83. So Operative 83 was selling for $53.19 on average, probably affected by this one particular sale up here. We'll look at the individual ones in the next sheet, but this very high maximum of $94.19. Otherwise, I think he'd probably be well in line with all of the other ones as well. But everyone else is basically selling for, around that $45 to $50 price. But again, you can pay even less than that. You can pay $40 for each of those figures right now from most authorized Four Horsemen retailers. So not a lot of chance of appreciation, but it's still interesting to see how the prices played out over the 6-week period that they have been available. Let's look at the individual sales themselves. Right, we'll start with Outpost Zaxxius, the Alien. Again, only sales in May and June. We had a little bit of a price appreciation at the beginning when he was just available. People started to gobble him up for somewhere around 56 to 62.50 or so. But right now he's here's our $50 retail price, and all of the sales in the last 3 weeks of June were basically at retail or below. Some of them even as low as like $37.49, which is even basically the price you could get them from the Horseman for, and that's including shipping as well, and the Horseman would definitely be charging shipping, so even a better price than direct in a case like that. So similar pattern as we saw for the other Cosmic Legions figures, if you watch some of those other videos. We have a similar sort of pattern with Callie and Shun here. Again, when she was just available in May, prices were somewhere around $55 to $62, and now we've got that $50 benchmark here for the retail price, and she's gone all the way down to, again, $37.49. So very similar story with her as we saw with Outpost Zaxxius. Operative 83, we saw him have a little bit higher price. So as you can see, back when he was only available as the PowerCon early releases, you can see him going for $70 to $110. Again, people just probably should have waited unless they really had to have him in hand. But right now, you can see that the figures that were available as of May, we had one sell here. There's our $94.19, but everything else was $70 and below. And again, after the first couple weeks of June, we saw $50 and below, and he was all the way down again to $37.49. So again, pretty similar story here for Operative 83 after he was more available, other than just being available as that PowerCon early release. Zaxxian Mine Worker, take a look at him. Again, not a whole lot of sales here, especially not a lot of sales in June, right? So we saw only 3 sales in June at all. But again, a couple of them over $70, but mostly he's below that $60 retail price. And some of them were pretty low, right? $47.16. Here, the most recent sale was even $46. So it seems like you could probably get a Zaxxian Mine Worker if you wanted to get a few of them. If you really liked it in hand and wished you had a couple more, you could probably find them pretty inexpensively on eBay for even below the Horseman direct price. Let's look at Scourge here, the other figure that has a higher retail price, and also the other figure who was a PowerCon release. As you can see, somebody here paid $234 in August, had to have him, but most of the August and late 2023 sales were between $120 and I'd say most of them between about $165, $120 to $165. But all the most recent ones here, this one was $100, this one was $95, $85, $20, and then here's our $80 and below. They've all been recently between $80, a little bit below $80. So I would say between about $70 and $80 for Scourge. Pretty tight though, not super cheap on Scourge. So I think that 20% off retail sale that's going on right now is probably your best bet for Scourge if you want to pick one up. Tusk Pilot, similar story to what we saw with Alter and with Callie and Shun. Again, selling at the beginning for 57.50 up to 65. Then here's our $50 barometer, and you can see that most of the sales in the last 2 weeks of June have been somewhere between about $45 down to $37.49. Again, that lower price there. So $37.49 to about $45 is the most recent price for him in the last couple weeks. And then finally, taking a look at our special release, Walter the Mad, a little bit different, although his price has come down as well. Back in 2023, he was selling for, I'd say, $80 to $85 pretty consistently. More recently, though, he's been mostly between about $52 and $71. So about $50 to $70 for Walter. If you see one for that general retail price of $50 or a little bit more than $50 to $60, I think that's probably a pretty good price for a Cosmic Walter if you're still wanting to pick one of him up. So that is it for the Outpost Zaxxius wave, as well as a little look at Walter the Mad. Can't really tell a whole lot from the first couple weeks that these figures have been available, but again, we're seeing similar patterns where there's ample availability of a lot of these figures after release, and I would expect them to kind of remain around the same prices, not really going above retail for a while until the retailers start to sell out. So we'll see what happens after that sale is over at the end of July, and maybe the prices will start going up then because retailers will be out of stock at that point. That might be one of the purposes of the sale. We will see. So hopefully they don't go up too quickly so that people can still get some of those figures if they are looking for them. I really like all the ones that I've opened. They've really been very smooth moving, I've noticed. I haven't had to really heat them up at all, which I do for other Legions figures because I want to make sure that I don't destroy them or break them or anything. So I'm ultra careful, but with these I didn't really have to be ultra careful with them, at least in my experience. So these are really good figures. I really like the paint jobs on a lot of them, and hopefully the price stays relatively low for people to be able to pick them up if they want to either get them or get some more of them. That's it for this video. Please like, subscribe, etc. As everybody always says, I'll be back with some more videos here. This is the end of Cosmic Legions for Q2. I've done all the data that I have for those, so I'm going to do Figure Obscura as well as now get into Mythic Legions because I am done collecting that data as well. So stay tuned for those, and I'll see you again in the next one.